today we are here with the award-winning MC Barber.
Hey everyone, this is MC Barber. Welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to do a very textured Fohawk, and I'm excited to make these videos for you. I do this video during my working hours when my clients just come in. I schedule myself every 20 minutes for each client, so we shoot the videos during those 20 minutes. And I try to make them as real as possible, your average everyday situation. That's why I don't, prepare the whole situation. I don't see, like in this case, you have a client like this, you are on a tight schedule. What do you do? I mean, his hair is a little messy. He might not have time to wash it. So I want to just, walk through our everyday situations, and that's why I'm making them like this. So here we are doing a texture Fohawk, and the client wants to go from about half on the sides to long Fohawk. So when I have my clippers that I'm using right now, or fading clippers, by opening the blade, basically you get half of 1 or 0.5. So that was the first thing, and I did it on dry hair. The reason I didn't do this technique first, because I have to wet the hair and kind of comb it down, as you can see now, so I can do this technique. So I did the other one because the other clippers work better on the dry hair. These clippers work on the wet and dry hair. I know they say use them on the dry hair. All my barbering life I've been using them on wet and dry hair, and most of the time on wet hair. And honestly, for me they worked fine. For years I use the same blades. I don't have problems. So here, after I did my first step, which was half, now I'm using my standard technique, that is for creating the foundation and removing the bulk. As you see, I already removed the bulk. I almost blended the sides with the top with my foundation technique that I called foundation creation and bulk removal. So as you can see, the top is almost blended into the sides. Now I'm using 1 or 1/8 of an inch, and I'm gonna be kind of fading from the top down. Now I'm going from 1.5 down to half, basically. So I'm using 1, then I'm gonna use 1/16 of an inch and connect my fade. So I feel like this is the quickest way to get this haircut done in the period of time that I have. So there it is. I'm working, and honestly, I'll give you a kind of funny story. I hired a barber in my barber shop. He was Hispanic, and he was actually very, very good in fading and designs and so on and so forth. And I remember when I hired him the day, he was like, white people can't cut hair. I was like, fine, man, it's okay. So I put him to work right next to me. And as usually I do my 15-20 minutes cuts, and he's looking at my fades, and he goes like, wow, I see that he's making these spaces. The fades are coming out good. And one day we were doing exactly the same haircut, and I did mine in 20 minutes. He took about 45 maybe. And he said, MC, can I ask you something? I said, sure, no problem. What is it, man? He said, how come you are so slow but you finish so fast? I said, I make every move count. So even though I'm now moving fast, I'm not rushing, it's the system that I developed over the years. I made every move count. So that's why I'm so efficient with time. So then I joked with him. I said, well, hey, I'm white. He goes like, forget that. I was wrong about that. So there it is. My fade is almost done. It's very simple, very fast, time efficient. I'm using here 1/16 now, connecting actually still to my fade. As you can see, the haircut is actually come out pretty good so far. Now, once I do that, I usually use my edgers because they are zero gap to kind of start all my fades really from zero, as close as I can get to the skin. Same thing at the sideburns area. And then I'll use my fading clippers and kind of polish that a little bit more. And that in most of the cases that will look pretty good. And if you guys have any questions or suggestions, please feel free to put a comment and put a request. Honestly, I do my best to respond to you guys. Barbering is my passion, and I see all barbers my colleagues. I did learn from somebody, and I love sharing my knowledge with you guys. And if you like my work, please put a thumbs up and share my videos. My goal is honestly to raise our industry to the next level. We shouldn't be just barbers. We should be more than that. We should be men's hairstylists. So that's why I'm working so hard on even, believe it or not, I still take classes. I take class every single week. I have my coach actually comes to my barbershop once a week, and we do a class on razor cutting and on styling, especially since I'm getting ready for the world competition this year in September in Paris, France. So wish me well in the world competition, and subscribe to my channel so you can follow and see if I won or not. I was fortunate enough to win the biggest barber expo in America 2 years in a row. Hopefully, so I'll be fortunate enough to win the world competition as well. Alright, so here my next step is as usually to remove the weight or the bulk of the hair there and kind of connect the top with the sides. I honestly love using this razor. I get so many questions: what type of razor is this? What blades do I use? Where do you get it? Honestly, it's very difficult to find this razor online. I am trying my best to import it from Germany. This is a German razor. It's not a secret. It's Tondeo. It's a sifter style Tondeo. I will make a video on it and explain what is it, what type of razor, and so on and so forth. I will try to actually make video on all my tools so you guys can see what type of tools I use, and it will be my pleasure to do that for you guys. So I like using this razor and removing the bulk, and really this a lot of times this becomes sufficient to connect the top with the sides. However, I like to go back on the end with scissors and just kind of refine it, see if I missed anything, and so on and so forth. But as you can see, this usually comes out pretty nice and smooth. I love this technique. I was very fortunate to learn it from the masters from the 70s and 80s, and I'm willing to share it with everyone now. Just the way I was told, I would love to teach others as well. As you can see, the cut is coming pretty good so far. And honestly, this particular haircut at maximum should not take more than 20 minutes. I mean, this is very simple haircut. As you can see, the blend with a straight edge razor, especially these gentlemen having very thick hair. It comes out very good. The top we're gonna keep for most part pretty long. He wants to style it kind of messy, not spiky, but rather messy, almost like a bedhead, but slightly into a Fohawk. So I'm gonna cut it with a straight edge razor as well. The bangs also I'm gonna cut with a straight edge razor. I don't like leaving the bangs heavy and straight across. 99% of the times I like to make the bangs uneven, just the way they grow, almost looking like natural. Now this is what I call razor notching. You have to be careful when you execute this technique because there is no guard on the blade, it's straight edge. But honestly, it's not dangerous technique as long as you practice properly and you learn it, then it becomes almost second nature. So I honestly never ever cut myself with this technique. And you can remove some length here. And give him really that nice texture look. With some matte finish product, this haircut will look awesome. Now what's coming up is a technique that I called razor point cutting. I don't know if you ever heard of such a thing. I call this technique razor point cutting because I am cutting with a point or a tip of my razor, watch that right there, and I'm just taking the pieces out to create some texture inside of the hair. It's like deep point cutting. You are actually cutting pretty close down, taking out the chunks of the hair so you can create a movement and more texture inside the hair, as you can see right there. Now you have to be very careful. This particular razor that I'm using is created for hair cutting. The tip of the blade is covered, so I cannot cut my client even if I touch his scalp. The razor that I use for shaving and for shaping up actually is not, the tip of the blade is actually open, so I would never use it for this technique because you can easily cut him. So you have to make sure that your razor that you are using, if you try this technique, make sure that the tip of your blade is covered. Alright, so now as I say, I like to use my scissors for the end and kind of clean up. And this is about end of your haircut. I really thank you guys for watching. I really thank you so much for subscribing. It gives me motivation to do more of these videos. It's been really great so far doing this for you guys. Thank you for watching so much. Thank you for subscribing even more. mcbarber.com is my website. Please put a comment or request. Put a thumbs up if you like my work. Until next time, take care of yourself.